You're currently sitting in 34B. Your knees are touching the seat in front of you, and you've spent the last 4 hours staring at the back of a headrest while the guy in 33C ignores the no fish in public rule. You've tried the inflatable neck pillow. You've tried leaning on the tray table, and you've definitely tried that magic sleep hack you saw on TikTok that actually just gave you a cramp in your neck. Everything you've been told about sleeping in economy is a lie designed to sell you $40 foam donuts at the airport gift shop. Most people think the secret to sleeping on a plane is a better pillow or a heavier dose of melatonin. It's not. In fact, most of the comfort gear you're carrying right now is actually making it harder for your body to hit REM cycle. I've spent the last 15 years living out of a carry-on, logging over 2 million miles across every continent, and I've spent more nights in a middle seat than I have in my own bed. I've consulted with sleep neurologists and long-haul flight crews to figure out why some people can pass out before takeoff while the rest of us are left counting the rivets in the ceiling. Here's the cold, hard truth. Your brain is biologically programmed to keep you awake at 35 to 500 feet. You are in a pressurized metal tube, surrounded by strangers, with 80 decibels of white noise and a humidity level lower than the Sahara Desert. Your lizard brain thinks you're in a survival situation, not a bedroom. But there is a way to trick your biology into thinking you're safe, and it has nothing to do with how much you paid for your ticket. The biggest mistake you're making starts before you even leave for the airport. Most travelers think tiring themselves out the night before is the play. You stay up late, you skip sleep, thinking you'll be so exhausted you'll have no choice but to crash. It's a disaster. When you're overtired, your body floods your system with cortisol, the stress hormone. Now, instead of being sleepy, you're wired and tired. You've essentially given yourself a shot of adrenaline right when you need it least. The secret isn't exhaustion, it's temperature regulation. There's a reason why the person in first class is out cold under a heavy duvet while you're shivering in a thin hoodie. It's not just the blanket, it's the thermal dump. To fall asleep, your core body temperature needs to drop by about 2 to 3 degrees. In a cramped economy seat, your body heat is trapped between you and the person next to you. You're literally cooking yourself awake. If you can't control the thermostat, you have to control your skin. I know this sounds like a lot to take in before we've even talked about seat selection, but stick with me, because if you get the biology wrong, the best seat in the world won't save you. Before we move into the actual physical setup of your row, the stuff the airlines don't want you to know about seat mechanics, do me a favor. If you're tired of arriving at your destination feeling like a zombie, hit that subscribe button. I'm stripping away the travel fluff to give you the actual science of flight. Now, you might be asking, Sarah, if it's not the pillow, then what is it? It's the 3 points of contact rule, and almost nobody in the back of the plane is doing it right. The 3 points of contact isn't some corporate safety manual for climbing ladders. In a 17-inch wide economy seat, it's the only thing standing between you and a mid-flight panic attack. If you want your brain to shut down, you have to stabilize 3 specific areas: your cervical spine, your lumbar curve, and your feet. Most people focus on the head and forget the rest, which is why you wake up feeling like you've been folded into a suitcase. First, let's talk about the hardware you're actually sitting on. That headrest? It's not just a flat board. On 90% of modern aircraft, those wings on the side actually fold inward. I see people every single day trying to balance their head on a $50 neck pillow while the built-in wings are tucked back. Totally ignored. Pop those wings out. They are designed to create a literal head cradle. If you combine those wings with a scarf or a hoodie, you've just created a custom molded sleeping nook without spending a dime. But here's where it gets controversial: the recline. There's a special circle of hell for people who slam their seat back during the meal service. But if you're trying to sleep, you need that 5-degree tilt. It's not about being horizontal. It's about shifting the weight off your lower spine. Without that slight angle, gravity is doing all the work, compressing your vertebrae every time the plane hits a pocket of air. Now, you might be thinking, Sarah, I'm 6'2". My knees are already in my chin. I can't recline. This is where the last row legend comes in. Most travelers avoid the very back of the plane because it's noisy and near the bathrooms. But on many long-haul configurations, the last row of a section has a hidden perk. You can recline against the bulkhead without ruining the life of the person behind you. It's guilt-free sleep. Plus, because nobody wants those seats, it's your best shot at the holy grail of economy, the poor man's first class, where you get an entire row to yourself. But it gets even better if you look down. Your feet are the most underrated part of the sleep equation. When your feet dangle or even just rest flat on the floor, it puts a massive strain on your thighs and cuts off circulation. This is why your legs feel heavy or twitchy 2 hours into the flight. The secret? You need to elevate your knees slightly above your hips. I'm not saying you should buy one of those inflatable foot cubes that take 10 minutes to pump up. Just use your personal item. Slide your backpack under the seat in front of you and use it as a footstool. That 4-inch lift tilts your pelvis back, flattens your lower spine against the seat, and, here's the magic, instantly triggers a relaxation response in your nervous system. You've stabilized the head, supported the back, and elevated the feet. You're finally in the sleep zone. But there's still a massive problem. Even with the perfect setup, the cabin environment is actively trying to wake you up. Between the bing bong of the flight attendant call button and the two is the 8 a.m. surprise bright light from the galley. Your senses are under assault. And this is where 99% of travelers fail, because they bring the wrong tools for the job. Wait until you hear what I use instead of those standard earplugs you get in the amenity kit. It's a total game changer for anyone with sensitive ears. So, you've got the 3 points of contact dialed in. You're reclined, your feet are elevated on your backpack, and your head is nestled into those seat wings. You're 5 minutes away from deep REM sleep, right? Wrong. The cabin crew just turned on the stadium lights to serve a lukewarm croissant, and the toddler in 22F just discovered his lung capacity. Your environment is a war zone. If you're relying on those cheap, foam earplugs they hand out, you've already lost. Those things are designed to block out a lawnmower, not the specific high-frequency whine of a jet engine or the low-frequency drone of a ventilation system. Here's the pro move: layering. I don't just wear noise-canceling headphones. I wear high-fidelity silicone earplugs underneath my over-ear noise-canceling headphones. It sounds like overkill until you realize that layering creates a literal silent vacuum. It's the difference between hearing a muffled baby cry and hearing nothing but the sound of your own heartbeat. And don't even get me started on the free eye masks. Most of them are flat. They press against your eyelids, which actually prevents the rapid eye movement you need for deep sleep, and they leak light around the nose. If you can't afford first class, spend $20 on a contoured 3D sleep mask. It looks like a tiny bra for your face, but it allows your eyes to move freely and blocks 100% of the light. You want your brain to think it's midnight in a cave, even if it's high noon over the Atlantic. But it gets worse if you don't manage the internal cabin. I see people slamming a glass of red wine or a gin and tonic thinking it's a nightcap. Please, for the love of your hydration levels, don't do this. Alcohol at 35,000 feet is a biological nightmare. It's a vasodilator, which means it makes you feel warmer, disrupts your core temperature. Remember the thermal dump? And ensures you'll wake up with a pounding headache and a mouth that feels like it's full of cotton. Instead, I want you to try the magnesium hydration stack. About 30 minutes before you want to pass out, drink a full bottle of water with a magnesium glycinate supplement. Magnesium is nature's muscle relaxant. It calms the nervous system without the hangover grogginess of heavy sleep meds. Now, you might be asking, Sarah, what if I do all this and I still can't sleep? Here is the ultimate secret, the one that separates the rookies from the road warriors: acceptance. The moment you start checking your watch and calculating how many hours of sleep you have left, you've lost. That's sleep anxiety, and it's a one-way ticket to staying awake the whole flight. If you can't sleep, just rest. Close your eyes, keep your 3 points of contact, and let your body go limp. Even quiet wakefulness provides about 70% of the recovery benefits of actual sleep. The less you fight the seat, the more likely you are to actually drift off. You don't need a $10 "This isn't a zero lie flat pod" to arrive feeling human. You just need to stop fighting your biology and start hacking your environment. I've put together a long-haul survival kit list in the description below with the exact mask, earplugs, and magnesium I use to survive 14-hour hauls in 34B. If this video helped you feel a little less dread about your next flight, do me a favor. Hit that like button and comment 34B so I know you